Hi, Joel Petrie here. I decided to make a couple tutorials on how to make your videos look less like video, more like film, etc., etc. I decided to start with a post-production process because a lot of you may have footage lying around that is older. You can do a lot in post to give it a more of a film look. First of all, we're going to look at color and filtering and why that's important. So take a look at the shot. It's of a dirt road running through trees. The grass is nice and green. The trees are almost budding, and the sun is shining right towards us. Now you might think, well, it's a good enough shot for what I'm trying to achieve, but I was going for a more somber feel, I decided. But it's not fall. It's not the right time of year. So how do I get that somber feel? How do I go through? So what I did was changed the grass to a yellow, crushed my shadows, and punched the brightness of the sun. Even though it wasn't right there, I thought, you know, people will accept the dust on my lens, the lens flare, if you will, if it's because the sun is right there, sun is shining in our face. And then in order to add a little bit of life to the piece, because honestly, I could have just changed the grass to yellow and it would have been fall. But I didn't want that. I wanted to give it a little bit of a fantasy feel, so I added, as you can see, the purple to the tips of the blades of the grass, and that was a pretty simple process if you know what's going on. This isn't a tutorial on how to do it, it's a tutorial on the importance of it. So as you can see, I changed my grass, I crushed my blacks, made my shadows a little more crisper, as if I had planned it that way, and then I punched my whites, and that gives me the more of an effect that it's fall because of that color, but then B, there's still life in my grass, and then finally it makes it like a sunset. Even though I was still about, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, about an hour I should say, about from magic hour, I still wanted that sunset effect, and so that's what I did. For this next shot, I wanted more of a transitional feel to it, and so when I was filming it, it keeps repeating itself, but I was playing with my ND filter in camera, and when you switch that, it gives this nice 16mm film winding up effect. But it's not complete, if that makes sense. So I wanted one of those 16mm film. You just hit roll camera, so it is exposing the film, but it's not up to speed yet, so it's still being overexposed. And then once it finds its speed, the 16mm camera then it evens out. And you've seen it in a few movies. It happens all the time, and I wanted to get that same effect while using a digital camera. And I knew that I could come back into my post and actually finish off the bright flash that my ND filter was giving me. And so what I did was I threw on reds, some bright reds and bright yellows, blew out the whites, and added a blur effect to give it that wind up feeling. So here's the original. You see it's just a clean shot of trees. And then I went through, I flashed it, and there's the blur effect. It's pretty effective. For this shot, I just wanted to show how a little bit of diffusion can go a long way. First, I slowed down this shot to make it feel a little more smooth, because I shot everything handheld in this. So I slowed down the shot first, and then took it into post. Added a heavy diffusion, and that's the effect it gave. Really nice explosion of light. For the rest of the piece, I'm just going to kind of walk through what I did, just so you can see everything else I did, because it's the same basic effect for every shot. You know, changes of color and use of light and use of filtering, like streaks of light, blur effects, etc., etc. Anyway, as you can see from these examples, just by tweaking the color a little bit on your piece, It doesn't have to be as extreme as what I'm showing you here, but even just a little bit can make your piece look like more like it's a film, like it was meant to turn out this way. It was, you know, like you put hours and hours of planning into it, when really I just went up the canyon with my roommate, had him walk around, I shot some pretty pictures, and then I came back and I played with the color. It looks like we put, you know, at least an hour of planning into this, when really it was just an experiment in color, and that I wanted to share with people on the internet. So I'm going to leave you with the final version of this, and the last thing I did, and like I said in the beginning, I wanted more of a mellow feel to this piece, so I'm going to leave you with the full thing cut together with the music I chose, and you can see that it looks like we did a lot of pre-production, when really it was a lot of post-production. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.